Universe Books. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. By Dr. Joseph Murphy Ph.D., 1963. This is an audiovisual project, derived from the original classic book. Produced by Universe Books Channel. All rights reserved. Chapter 5, Mental Healing in Modern Times. What is it that heals? Where is this healing power, and how can it be put to practical use? These are vital questions of deep concern to all of us. To all of them, the answer is the same: this healing power is in the subconscious mind of every person, and a changed mental attitude on the part of the sick person releases this healing power. No mental, or religious science practitioner, psychologist, psychiatrist, or medical doctor ever healed a patient. There is an old saying, the doctor dresses the wound, but God heals it. The psychologist or psychiatrist makes effective change by removing the mental blocks in the patient so that the healing principle may be released, restoring the patient to health. In the same way, the surgeon removes the physical block, enabling the healing currents to function normally. No physician, surgeon, or mental science practitioner can legitimately claim that he or she healed the patient. The one healing power may be called by many different names: nature, life, God, creative intelligence, but in reality these are simply different ways to refer to subconscious power. As we have already seen, there are many different ways we can use to remove the mental, emotional, and physical blocks that inhibit the flow of the healing life principle animating all of us. The healing principle resident in your subconscious mind can and will, if properly directed by you or some other person, heal your mind and body of all disease. This healing principle operates in all people regardless of creed, color, or race. You do not have to belong to some particular church in order to use and participate in this healing process. Your subconscious will heal the burn or cut on your hand even if you profess to be an atheist or agnostic. Modern mental healing is based on the truth that the infinite intelligence and power of your subconscious mind responds according to your faith. Mental science practitioners or ministers follow the injunction of the Bible. That is, they go into their closet and shut the door, which means they still their minds, relax, let go, and think of the infinite healing presence within them. They close the door of their mind to all outside distractions as well as appearances, and then they quietly and knowingly turn over their request or desire to their subconscious mind, realizing that the intelligence of their mind will answer them according to their specific needs. The most wonderful thing to know is this: imagine the end desired and feel its reality, then the infinite life principle will respond to your conscious choice and your conscious request. This is the meaning of the text: believe you have received, and you shall receive. This is what the modern mental scientist does when he or she practices prayer therapy. One process of healing. There is only one universal healing principle operating through everything: the cat, the dog, the tree, the grass, the wind, the earth, for everything is alive. This life principle operates through the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms as instinct and the law of growth. Because humans are consciously aware of this life principle, we can consciously direct it to bless ourselves in countless ways. There are many different approaches, techniques, and methods in using the universal power, but there is only one process of healing, which is faith, for according to your faith is it done unto you. The law of belief. All religions of the world represent forms of belief, and these beliefs are explained in many ways. The law of life is belief. What do you believe about yourself, life, and the universe? It is done unto you as you believe. Belief is a thought in your mind that causes the power of your subconscious to be distributed into all phases of your life according to your thinking habits. You must realize that when the Bible speaks of belief, it is not talking about your belief in some ritual, ceremony, form, institution, or formula. It is talking about belief itself. The belief of your mind is simply the thought of your mind. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Mark 9, verse 23. It is foolish to believe in something that will hurt or harm you. Remember, it is not the thing believed in that hurts or harms you, but the belief or thought in your mind that creates the result. All your experiences, all your actions, and all the events and circumstances of your life are but the reflections and reactions to your own thought. Prayer therapy is the combined function of the conscious and subconscious minds scientifically directed. Prayer therapy is the synchronized, harmonious, and intelligent function of the conscious and subconscious levels of mind specifically directed for a definite purpose. In scientific prayer or prayer therapy, you must know what you are doing and why you are doing it. You trust the law of healing. Prayer therapy is sometimes referred to as mental treatment. Another term is scientific prayer. In prayer therapy, you consciously choose a certain idea, mental picture, or plan that you desire to experience. You realize your capacity to convey this idea or mental image to your subconscious by feeling the reality of the state assumed. As you remain faithful in your mental attitude, your prayer will be answered. Prayer therapy is a definite mental action for a definite specific purpose. Let us suppose that you decide to heal a certain difficulty by prayer therapy. You are aware that your problem or sickness, whatever it may be, must be caused by negative thoughts charged with fear and lodged in your subconscious mind. You realize that if you can succeed in cleansing your mind of these thoughts, you will get a healing. You, therefore, turn to the healing power within your subconscious mind. You remind yourself of its infinite power and intelligence and its capacity to heal all conditions. As you dwell on these truths, your fear will begin to dissolve. The recollection of these truths battles and ultimately overcomes the erroneous beliefs. You give thanks for the healing that you know will come. Then you keep your mind off the difficulty until you feel guided, after an interval, to pray again. While you are praying, you refuse to give any power to the negative conditions or to admit for a second that the healing will not come. This attitude of mind brings about the harmonious union of the conscious and subconscious mind, which releases the healing power. Faith healing, what it means, and now blind faith works. What is popularly known as faith healing is not the faith spoken of in the Bible, which means a knowledge of the interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind. A faith healer is one who heals without any real scientific understanding of the powers and forces involved. He or she may claim a special gift of healing, and the sick person's blind belief in him or her or in his or her powers may bring results. In many parts of the world, traditional healers treat their patients by dances, incantations, and invocations of spirits. A person may be healed by touching the relics of a saint, wearing special ritual garb, lighting a holy incense or candle, or drinking a mixture of brewed herbs. Anything that leads the patient to honestly believe in the method or process will make a healing more likely. Any method that causes you to move from fear and worry to faith and expectancy will heal. Many people claim that because their individual theories produce results, they must therefore be correct and true. As we have already seen, this cannot be right. To illustrate how blind faith works, think back to our discussion of the Swiss physician, Franz Anton Mesmer. In 1776, he claimed to have produced many cures by stroking the bodies of his patients with magnets. Later, he threw away his magnets and simply made passes with his hands at a short distance from the patient. This too worked. To explain the success of this new procedure, Mesmer evolved the theory of animal magnetism. This he held to be a fluid that pervades the universe but is most active in the human organism. He claimed that this magnetic fluid was being transmitted from his hands to the diseased bodies of his patients and that this transfer of animal magnetism was what healed them. People flocked to him, and many wonderful cures were reported. Mesmer moved to Paris. There the government appointed a commission to investigate his cures. Its members included prominent physicians and members of the Academy of Science, of which Benjamin Franklin was a member. After a thorough inquiry, the commission admitted that Mesmer had produced confirmed cures. It held, however, that there was no evidence to prove the correctness of his magnetic fluid theory. It suggested that the effects were due to the imagination of the patients. Soon after this, Mesmer was driven into exile. He died in 1815. Shortly afterward, Dr. James Braid of Manchester, England, undertook to show that magnetic fluid had nothing to do with the production of the healings of Dr. Mesmer. Dr. Braid discovered that patients could be thrown into hypnotic sleep by suggestion. While they were in the hypnotic trance, he succeeded in producing many of the amazing phenomena that Mesmer had ascribed to animal magnetism. You can readily see that all these cures were undoubtedly brought about by the active imagination of the patients together with a powerful suggestion of health to their subconscious minds. It is not unfair to call this blind faith, because neither the patients nor the practitioners understood how many cures were brought about. Subjective faith and what it means. The subjective or subconscious mind of an individual is as amenable to the control of his or her own conscious or objective mind as it is to the suggestions of another. It follows that whatever may be your objective belief, if you will assume to have faith actively or passively, your subconscious mind will be controlled by the suggestion, and your desire will be fulfilled. The faith required in mental healings is a purely subjective faith. The way to attain it is to put an end to active opposition on the part of the objective or conscious mind. For an effective healing of the body to take place, it is, of course, best if both the conscious and subconscious mind are in a state of fully accepting faith. However, it is not always essential. You can enter into a condition of passivity and receptivity by relaxing the mind and the body and getting into a sleepy state. In this drowsy state your passivity becomes receptive to subjective impression. A man once asked me, "How is it that I got a healing through a certain minister?" When he told me that there is no such thing as disease and that matter does not exist, I did not believe a word he said. I thought he was insulting my intelligence. And yet, I was healed. How could that be? As I told this man, the explanation is simple. He was quieted by soothing words and told to get into a perfectly passive condition, to say nothing and think of nothing for the time being. The minister also became passive. He affirmed quietly, peacefully, and constantly for about a half hour that this man would have perfect health, peace, harmony, and wholeness. At the end of the half hour, the man felt immense relief and was restored to health. It is easy to see that his subjective faith had been made manifest by his passivity under treatment, and the suggestions of perfect healthfulness by the minister were conveyed to his subconscious mind. The two subjective minds were then in rapport. If the man had allowed his doubts about the healer's power and the correctness of his theory to surface, these would have acted as antagonistic autosuggestions. The minister's suggestions would have been seriously handicapped or even totally frustrated. In this sleepy, drowsy state, however, the resistance of the conscious mind was reduced to a minimum. The subconscious mind of the patient was receptive to the minister's suggestions. It performed its functions in harmony with those suggestions, and a healing followed. The meaning of absent treatment. Suppose while living in Los Angeles, you learned that your mother in New York City was seriously ill. Your first impulse might be to leave your home and job to go to her. But what if that were not possible? Would you have to give up any hope of lending the strength of your faith to the process of your mother's recovery? No. While you might not be physically present, your prayers would go to her nonetheless. It is the Father within that doeth the work. There is but one creative mind. The creative law of mind serves you. What you must do is induce an inner realization of health and harmony in your own mentality. Its response is automatic. This inner realization, acting through the subconscious mind, operates in turn on your mother's subconscious mind. Your thoughts of health, vitality, and perfection operate through the one universal subjective mind. They set in motion a law of the subjective side of life that manifests itself through her body as a healing. In the mind principle, there is no time or space. The same mind operates through your mother, and through you, no matter where you may be. In reality there is no absent treatment as opposed to present treatment, for the universal mind is omnipresent. You do not try to send out thoughts or hold a thought. Your treatment is a conscious movement of thought. As you become conscious of the qualities of health, well-being, and relaxation, these qualities will be resurgent in the experience of your mother. Results will follow. Here is an actual example of what is misleadingly called absent treatment. A woman in Los Angeles learned that her mother in New York had suffered a coronary thrombosis. She could not go to her mother's side, but she prayed as follows: "The healing presence is right where my mother is." Her bodily condition is but a reflection of her thought life, like shadows cast on the screen. I know that in order to change the images on the screen I must change what they reflect. I now project in my own mind the image of wholeness, harmony, and perfect health for my mother. The infinite healing presence that created my mother's body and all her organs is now saturating every atom of her being, and a river of peace flows through every cell of her body. The doctors are divinely guided and directed, and whoever touches my mother is guided to do the right thing. I know that disease has no ultimate reality. If it had, no one could be healed. I now align myself with the infinite principle of love and life, and I know and decree that harmony, health, and peace are now being expressed in my mother's body. She prayed in this manner several times a day. After a few days, her mother had a remarkable recovery. Her cardiologist was amazed and complimented her on her great faith in the power of God. The conclusion arrived at in the daughter's mind and accepted by her with perfect faith set in motion the creative energy within the universal subconscious mind. This manifested itself through her mother's body as perfect health and harmony. What the daughter felt as true about her mother, was simultaneously expressed in the experience of her mother. Releasing the kinetic action of the subconscious mind. A psychologist friend of mine told me that a biopsy had shown the presence of cancerous cells in a vital organ. Her oncologist recommended a painful and dangerous treatment. Before agreeing, my friend tried another approach. Every night before going to sleep she quietly affirmed, "Every cell, nerve, tissue, and organ is now being made whole, pure, and perfect. My whole body is being restored to health and harmony." A complete healing followed in about a month's time. Subsequent tests showed that the cancerous cells were no longer present. I was very impressed by this, but also curious. I asked her why she repeated her affirmation prior to sleep. She told me, once it is set in motion in a certain direction, the kinetic action of the subconscious mind continues throughout your sleep. That is why it is so critical to give the subconscious mind something beneficial to work on as you drop off into slumber. This was a very wise answer. Notice also that in thinking of harmony and perfect health, she never referred to her condition by name. I strongly suggest that you stop talking about your ailments or giving them a name, especially in the hours leading up to sleep. The only sap from which they draw life is your attention and fear of them. Like the above-mentioned psychologist, become a mental surgeon. Then your troubles will be cut off the way dead branches are pruned from a tree. On the other hand, if you are constantly naming your aches and symptoms and discussing them, you give them power over you. You inhibit the kinetic action that releases the healing power and energy of your subconscious mind. Furthermore, by the law of your own mind, these imaginings tend to take shape, as the thing I greatly feared. Fill your mind with the great truths of life and walk forward in the light of love. Summary of your aids to health. Find out what it is that heals you. Realize that correct directions given to your subconscious mind will heal your mind and body. Develop a definite plan for turning over your requests or desires to your subconscious mind. Imagine the end desired and feel its reality. Follow it through, and you will get definite results. Decide what belief is. Know that belief is a thought in your mind and that what you think you create. It is foolish to believe in sickness or in anything that will hurt or harm you. Believe in perfect health, prosperity, peace, wealth, and divine guidance. Great and noble thoughts upon which you habitually dwell become great acts. Apply the power of prayer therapy in your life. Choose a certain plan, idea, or mental picture. Unite mentally and emotionally with that idea. As you remain faithful to your mental attitude, your prayer will be answered. Always remember, if you really want the power to heal, you can have it through faith, which means a knowledge of the working of your conscious and subconscious mind. Faith comes with understanding. Blind faith means that a person may get results in healing without any scientific understanding of the powers and forces involved. Learn to pray for your loved ones who may be ill. Quiet your mind. Your thoughts of health, vitality, and perfection operating through the one universal subjective mind will be felt and made manifest in the mind of your loved one. Well, here we finished this chapter of the book. Continue to listen in the next chapter. If you liked this video, if it brought a valuable information to you, you can help us clicking the like button. It is a positive sign for YouTube to suggest this audiobook to other people, and help the channel's growth. If you think that this video made your reading easier, if you think that it made your reading faster and more practical, if you think that we should launch more like this, write a comment here. We would like to know your opinion. It is very important for us. Remember to subscribe, and you will be informed when we launch new videos. Thank you for watching. See you in next chapter. Be always welcome. Production, Universe Books, copyright 2016.